he fell over just as I was starting. Anyway, I'm back. I did some work on this, on Zoidberg, while I was, his hands especially. Sorry, 1 second. I obviously was not ready for this. There we go. Okay, yeah, he fell off just as I was starting up. Okay, so I'm here. I did some work on Zoidberg's hands here. This is so hard. So I was gonna make him out. This is the last prototype that I did, for the most part, and it worked pretty well. It's huge, but I was gonna make him out of reticulated foam, but it seemed like an awful lot of foam for these hands, and I was worried they weren't going to keep their shape. So I decided to change over to L200, but because I had done it as one piece, I knew I needed to make part of it out of reticulated foam. So I cut up the pattern to make a kind of a squishy part and a more rigid part. And I cut all these out on the bandsaw, and I put a bevel on one side so they'd be nice and pointy on the one edge there. And I heat formed them to make them a little bit rounder. So I'm ready to glue them up. So that's where we're at. When I need another, I didn't think about this. I need 2 more of these. So just 1 second. All right. So I do have all my patterns here. This is these are the patterns for the inside of the mouth. Yeah. Or inside of the hand, I'm sorry. And then this is one claw, the upper claw, which I need 2 of these, and the lower claw. And then there's another section which is the foam part, which I need to make, which goes like this. And then these pieces go inside there and inside there. I was originally going to pattern it back and forth to make almost like a big pinking shear, but then I got to thinking it was like it maybe should be inset, and then just have the edges be like this, so that this one will claw and will set inside. So that's what I'm going to do. It'll be easier to pattern. It'll be a little harder to pattern the fabric part of it, but I think in the long run it'll be better. So, all right, let me do these. I'm not sure how necessary it is for me to have marked those. That's a pretty dead. I think I need a new razor. What am I making? So I'm making Zoidberg here, and I'm making his claws. Thank you. Yeah, I thought I'd sent you a picture. I sent you this. He's set up in such a way so that he can do his thing with his. It's a little stiff, but it'll work out. So anyway, it was just kind of a wild hair of an idea. What are you working on, BJ? Hey, BJ, while we're on here, a lot of people have been asking me what type of respirator we should be using. Oh, that's cool. They were asking me what type of respirator we should be using. I'm just using the one that I have from the shop. So I wasn't sure if there was a specific thing we're looking for. I thought it was the one that was organic and acid. Thanks, Justin. Okay, so now I get to put these things together. Got sawdust all over it, so it's going to add to the... Make sure I get the right side to the right side. Of course, none of these fit. Guess that's it. I need to make an assembly line here, so I make sure I glue all these correctly. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I looked it up. I looked up the one that's on the one that I got from the shop, and it said on there that it was the one that was for like acidic. I can't remember exactly what it said. It looks like I left it out of its bag last night, so it's probably just worthless now. This is the one I have from the shop here. And it says it's the 815298. Whatever that means. Oh, whatever. Or the 1611. If it doesn't seem to be working, I'll go outside and do it. But Okay. Since BJ's watching, I'll do it the correct way. Well, I'm not passing out yet, so this thing's probably still okay. Okay. Oof. I know it's going to throw off my sound, but I'm going to have to keep that fan on. Okay. But yeah, I made the hands yesterday, or the rudimentary hands. And hopefully I can get them at least foam today. And maybe I'll pattern out the hands, but I ordered some actual scrubs to make his to make his shirt, because I don't like the color of that shirt. So those should be coming on Wednesday. Because I beveled these dry yet. Gotta wait for those. Hey Chase, how's it going? Because I beveled these hands, there's definitely a left and a right now. So that'll go together. Go together like that. And then there's an insert piece here that will go in here. Oh, I put the bevel on the wrong side. Yeah, I gotta fix that. I do it wrong on both of them. Yep. Let me think about this. This needs to go. Were you able to find his book? He did at least one collection of Crazy Larry. I think he did it through Plan 9 Publishing. I don't know if Plan 9's still around either. It's like a million years ago that I did comics. He may have done it through KeenSpot as well. I don't remember. Okay, so. Oh, I don't even know about Lake Gary. Yeah, I can't remember. He was really into. He had done a Crazy Larry, and then I think it was up on the KeenSpot archive for the longest time. And then I think when we all left, did Southworth leave with us? I think Southworth left with us to go to Blank Label. I think he was doing Ugly Hill at that point. I don't know. It's, like I said, it was a million years ago. Just a second. Let me finish doing this and I'll go into it all. I'm gonna bang up down here. Okay, so when I'm trying to think when we left Keen Spot, I think it was around 2005, 2004. So we were all there were a bunch of us had been there since the beginning. I mean, I was one of the first ones, and then a lot of the people who were on Keen Spot had started around 98, 99 ish, and by after about 4 or 5 years, Keen Spot's focus kind of started becoming more towards some of the other titles, and we were all kind of like in this limbo of where we had some following, but we didn't have a huge following, and we didn't feel like we were being boosted up enough by the collective anymore. And we had a difference of opinion on how we should be represented. Like we wanted a little bit more professional look, and so we started rallying about like because I had a background in graphic design and Southworth. I think it was either Southworth or Brad Geiger came up with the new Keen Spot logo, and when we updated that, we came up with a new color palette. We did a bunch of stuff, and we just didn't feel like we were getting anything going with our own comics. So we broke off to kind of found our own thing, and yeah, about right around that same time was when one of the times when I stopped working on Melonpool completely because I was doing more puppet stuff, and it just became it was. I mean, in hindsight, maybe we should have stuck around. I don't know. I mean, Keen Spot itself has changed so much that, like, I went there a number of years ago and was like, "Oh, I'm Steve Troop. I used to be on Keen Spot." And I'm like, "Who?" So they obviously don't even know who I am anymore, which is fine. I mean, it again it. I wanted things to change in one way, and it was changing in different, and that's kind of how we left. But honestly, Chris Crosby and all those guys are great. I mean, I still talk to Chris all the time, at least on Facebook and whatnot. We're always sending stuff to each other. So I don't know. Actually, we shouldn't be doing that. I should be figuring this out. I think there was only 6 of us that left Keen Spot. I should have done one of these so I knew what I was doing before I got online. I got to make sure that I make a right and a left as well, because it's going to be super easy to do this the wrong way. I'm only going to do one of these because I'm not convinced I'm doing it the right way. Well, its walkie had kind of a cartoony look, and so did trying to think some of the other ones. Honestly, a good chunk of them had kind of an underground look to them. There were a few realistic, but for the most part, they were pretty much that kind of underground look. Okay, let's see if we get this thing together now. I'm gonna try and keep this back thing open here. Put all that butter. It's gonna go in there like that. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. I think Crazy Larry and Melonpool were about the same as far as the popularity goes. I know It's Walkie was quite a bit um, more popular than Melonpool was. Let me think about this for a second. That's going to be the inside. Or did I glue the wrong side? I did. No wonder nothing's sticking. Let that dry. Well, that's cool. Sorry, let me get this glue. I do this backwards. Well, I really did a bang up job on this. Anyways. There you go.
Okay, well, I've got to.
rework this inside of this claw because it's not going to fit the way I built it. So the bottom works pretty well. Let's try this again. Okay, get that out of there. Well, I did a bunch of comics about my dog called Sit Till He Sit. And that's probably as close to me doing a second comic as I've done. Did 3 books of those a couple years ago. I have enough comics to do another whole book. Yeah, I think I need to re-engineer this whole thing. That fits pretty well. Yeah, I'm going to have to log off and re-engineer this whole thing. I mean, it almost works like this, where I could. I did Cryptozoa too. That was the other thing I did. That was a puppet. I mean, a different comic that I was trying to do. How did I think of jokes from Opal? I worked a day job for a good chunk of it, and I would just sit there doodling all day while I was doing that day job. And that's where a lot of the jokes came from. I also did. He had a question. How did I start to think of jokes from Ellenpool? Well, what I would do is I would just like think about what interested me, and then I would kind of come up with gags in my sketchbook, and I would just like write down ideas and whatnot. Things happened in real life or at a convention. Sorry about that. That would end up in the comic. If I were to, I would listen to my friends and I'd jot down little ideas of things they would say. And, a lot of it was just, if I came up with plot lines, a lot of it was, I would read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes and think, oh, what would I do? What would happen if there were repercussions of these things like time travel or duplicates or things like that? And oh my gosh, with that window open, it's amazing anybody can hear anything I say. But I would use a lot of things that happen in real life as kind of a starting point. But I would also take the plots of Calvin and Hobbes and try and think about, well, if there were repercussions of time travel, what would that mean? If there was a duplicate of somebody, what would be the long-term complications that would bring up? And that was kind of how I would write it. I still have like 30 sketchbooks full of all my ideas as I was kind of coming up with them. Yeah. Back to this monstrosity here.
I think one of the things I have to do is I have to trim down this and stick it on there, because I think it's not. I don't think it's thin enough because I've changed the design. Like his tongue. It's a lot farther up in here than I thought it was going to be.
I have very funny friends, and when they would say something funny, I would remember it when I was writing Melonful, and it would end up in the strip. And if I used it, I would usually give them a special thanks in the strip as well. Okay, so I got something that works. Let's see if I can make these work now. Okay, so let me think about this. So there's a claw. So it would sit on there. Actually, it would sit on here like this. So I want that to be sitting on there like that. Yeah, I think that's just a little too wide for it. Why do I hate mud so much? Well, I don't hate it as much as I used to, but I was in high school when it came out, or it came out and replaced Calvin and Hobbes in just about every paper when Calvin and Hobbes went away and Mutz came in and took its spot. And I was always like, that's my spot. So that was really where it all started. It's stupid. I shouldn't be that way. All right, I got to re-engineer this whole thing because I have no idea what I'm doing. But at least I have I have a shape that works, which is good. I just got to make sure I can make the mechanism fit inside here, or I'll have to make a couple of parrot puppets, Skeksis or something. I don't know. All right, I'll be back on later when I figure this out. If I can figure out how to do it. Minus. All right, I'll see you guys later.